Okay. We are
Go,
we're
go get
recording.
home repair. Get go.
Get go. Can you start your own thing again like you were
Go
doing
get.
before?
I don't have any resources here. I don't have any people. The way I started my company last time is I worked for a plumber and I scalped his customers from him. And after a while, I built up enough of a customer. I just
Was he okay with
do it
that?
by myself. No, he didn't know. So I was like, well, you could, get him to do it, or I could come back in 4 hours and do it for half the price. And everyone seemed to like that for some reason.
Oh man, you're a character,
So what
Steven.
do you want to talk about? That I am.
um, I don't know. Talk about yourself. That's generally what we do. We talk about ourselves and how selfish we are.
Well, as long as there's no ego involved, I'm good.
Yeah, try to
On
just keep
video,
keep keep it on a
online,
simmer.
are we on?
A little bit of ego is fine. Just keep it on a simmer. So it's been a year since you've been on here. What do we did like what 2 shows? Did we do 2 shows?
2 or 3.
I know we did the
Yeah.
one with Og and those other 2 guys, but that one got deleted.
Oh
So
yeah. Then three single, like three with just me, and then Augs and Christians.
mm-hmm. So
What happened to that video? It got deleted.
I deleted it. He wanted it
Sell
deleted
out.
for whatever reason, and I didn't really care. I think I've deleted like maybe 3 videos out of 1,000 something.
Yeah, you have more videos than you do subscribers. It's ridiculous.
No, I don't. I
Uh,
don't. I have
it's like a half. It's like a half ratio.
yeah, I have one
And
video per
that means where you have 50,000 videos.
one video per 2 subscribers.
Yeah, that's a pretty good ratio.
Yeah.
You just need 500,000 more to hit 1 million subscribers.
I'm on track. Well, actually, I've been kind of ramping down a little bit from making videos every day. But I never know like how it's gonna go. I don't sit there and plan, to make videos. I either feel inspired to make a video or I don't. And if I don't, then there's no video.
Yep,
That's how it
dude,
works.
that's how I do it. But like, I hit a breaking point where like, if enough time goes by, then I feel inclined to make one. I'm like, what have I not talked about yet?
Well, that's what I was talking with Andrea about. Is like I've talked about literally everything. I mean, I haven't talked about everything as far as topics, but as far as thought structures and sort of theories, I've talked about almost everything I possibly could imagine. And also, when I was making all these videos, you and I were kind of going through the same thing. We were both, you were actually homeless. I was semi-homeless, and we were like sitting there trying to work all that shit out. It was kind of like a vlog type
Yeah,
thing. So I'm
yeah,
in,
spiritual adventures.
yeah, I actually have some stability now after 2 years of wandering. So that's definitely changing the dynamics of the channel a little bit. But
That's a good thing, man.
mm-hmm.
I was so happy whenever you told me you moved into a place.
Yeah, it
I've only
was
got two
needed.
weeks left in my place before I'm homeless again.
Really?
Yeah, I'll figure something out.
So well, you got to make sure you pass your drug test then, right?
Yeah, either that or just pack up my shit and move again, like I've been doing. That seems to be pretty successful.
Yeah. Yeah, you've been living the nomadic life. Let
Dude,
the
I've been all over the fucking country.
let the winds of fate blow you where they may, right?
Yeah, but I hit the East Coast and there's no more like room to go. The
Yeah.
wind blows towards the east, and I've hit the coast. Unless I build a sail, I'm pretty sure I have to not go where the wind blows me from now.
Just tell it to start blowing you west.
Mm, West
Yeah,
is best.
I mean, I've got to. There's only one comedy club here, and they only do one open mic night a month, and it's called Columbia's Got Talent, and
Yeah.
it's not just comedy. It's like musicians and singers and just people who think they have talent in the area. And there was only two other stand-up guys whenever I was there, and I was like, "This is a fucking comedy club. This is ridiculous." Like, there's one other comedy club in Charlotte, but it's like a 2-hour drive away. And dude, there's just so much shit in California. Like, so many great, world class, the best in the world comedy clubs. And apparently, San Francisco is pretty friendly to homeless people.
It is.
Joking.
Weather-wise, at
I
least.
heard they had robots that were activated to go stir up homeless people.
Really?
Yeah, in San Francisco, like these little robot things that go around and like make loud noises and flash lights to wake up and disperse homeless people from their
my
sleeping
God.
dens.
I've never
I
heard
saw
of
a
that.
YouTube video about it.
I've never heard
I don't know
of
if it ever got like fully enacted, but it was a thought in San Francisco. Apparently, you guys have more street poops per capita than any other place in the world. Like homeless people taking dumps in the street for no reason.
I've seen it twice.
Is this because restaurants don't let people in to use a bathroom in San Francisco? Like,
Yeah,
is it customers only?
They lock the doors. Not only that, but there's also just there are few restaurants. I mean, there are a few like. It's just a huge pain in the ass that there aren't that many bathrooms available, and then most of them are locked up, and then there's traffic. I mean, if you're like living out of the car and trying to take a shit, it's impossible. But
It's not impossible.
it's not impossible. But if you're actually homeless, then yeah, like you gotta just walk out in front of traffic, bend over, do your. I saw someone do it. He held up
Drop a log in the middle.
he held up a whole line of traffic, and he turned around to the front car and literally just like took a dump right in front of the front car.
Sprayed it
Yeah.
like a cat.
And
It's my car.
none of them did anything. Like there were no honks. Like the people on the side of the street were just laughing. Like it was pretty funny. I saw a woman took a dump too. I've seen two. I've probably seen more than that. I don't know if I've retained all of them in my memory though.
I remember one time in Dallas, I was homeless and it was snowing and I was in my car with no gas, so no heater, and I was all bundled up and I was in the middle of a park and I couldn't like go anywhere to use a bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
So use a McDonald's cup. You try using a McDonald's cup for a number 2 while there's a dog in the back seat in a fucking like a Grand Marquis. Like, it's God, dude. Once I did that, I was like, this may be my new low. this may be a low point in my life.
What size McDonald's cup was it? Was it like one of those big gulp massive
one.
things? It was a small one? How big was the cup?
Huh?
How big was the cup?
Like a 32 ounce.
Ah, so you're good.
It's like a pro right there.
Yeah.
Sounds like you've done it before, Garrett.
Huh?
So it sounds like you've done that before.
Have I taken a shit in
Like,
a cup?
what size?
I don't know. I might have.
The best is one of those vintage Starbucks cups. That way it looks like, you have a little bit of class to it. Yeah, it was a venti.
Making milk.
I thought about getting jobs at regular places like I worked at Starbucks for a couple weeks and I worked at Applebee's for a while, and I was like, man, I should just go get random jobs and videotape like video me at these jobs and just completely like fuck with people. Like my idea hit me whenever I was washing dishes at Applebee's. I heard people talking about, because I was kind of sneaky. I knew that this guy was talking trash about me, so I plugged my phone into like the USB port that was on the line where this guy was talking crap about me, and I had my Bluetooth earbuds in while I was washing dishes, and I downloaded an app that allows you to hear through the microphone of your phone. So I could like listen to their conversations as I'm washing dishes, and it looks like I'm listening to music. And I was like, man, I should just totally make these people think I'm fucking just completely crazy, and see what kind of shit they talk about me behind my back and record it all. Just bounce around from job to job, making everyone think I'm completely like a lunatic. And I thought, and capture on video.
Yeah, you can make a show like that. No, what you should do is do the Kurt Vonnegut thing where you get hired at a place and then you go and just change certain lettering of all the employee like guides and signs and everything. Just change the whole, like if it says 10-minute break only, put like 11 2.5-minute break only. Just fuck with it in small ways that's hard to detect.
Yeah, fucking with signs is fun. Being a plumber, there was this one place I was installing a shower nozzle on this gymnasium like locker room, and it had a sign that said "Turn up for hot," and I put another sign on there that said "Turn down for what." And within the last couple weeks, I drove by this daycare, and it had one of those signs out front with the movable letters. I'm like, oh god, they don't have these letters locked behind anything. People could just take the letters. I'm like, oh fuck, taking the letters. I rearranged the letters to make something inappropriate. I can't remember what it said initially, but after I got done reworking it, which it took me a while to figure out the most offensive thing I could fit in with those letters. But I put, we now have toilet cams on this daycare sign.
Toilet cams?
Out front.
Oh, toilet cams.
Toilet cams.
Oh, God.
And I super glued it in place.
Wow.
I still got the super glue in case I run across another sign.
Did you ever go back to see if it was still there?
Yeah, the next day they already changed it, but I broke the sign because like all the letters were off.
Yep.
Yeah.
You could do that with like church signs, right? Whenever they're advertising whatever their latest special
signs is. Are the best. Those people will shoot you in a heartbeat. Christians have no patience for people disrespecting their church signs.
You could do gas stations. They have those little movable letters for their... You could put all the prices to like 10 cents per gallon. I heard that...
Yeah, they're all digital now.
I heard
technology.
That they have to honor what it says, and maybe there's a law now that prohibits this, but like at one point, the sign fucked up and it said something like 5 cents a gallon, and then everybody went there and they're like, oh, I see, you got a sale going on here, and the gas station had to honor that until they fixed the sign.
Or until they closed down shop, because that probably put their asses out of business.
Right. Saudi Arabia is not going to be too happy about it.
Yep.
Or wherever we're buying all these gallons of oil from.
Saudis. So, are we recording it?
We've been recording, bro.
Oh, fuck.
It sneaks up on you, doesn't it?
I was joking about the whole taking a shit in the cup.
The real Steven comes out. Have you been making videos? I know you've been sending me links, but I haven't been watching them. I haven't been watching anything. Actually, I watched like 5 minutes of a video, I think.
I made one the other day about the Serpent Mound in Ohio, and its connection to the Norway Spiral, that big Norway Spiral in 2010. You ever see that UFO video? There's a big spiral in the Norway sky. There have been 14 different sightings of a huge spiral, and I connected the two together because it looks like I don't know. Serpent Mound has a weird spirally tail and a weird egg thing that a lot of people just assume is the pineal gland or the third eye chakra. And I was like, well, maybe they just saw something in the night sky. So I postulated that maybe all these UFO spirally things are just time travel experiments.
Could be.
Started 2010. I made one before that about giants and the Nephilim. I haven't really talked about those guys.
Have you ever seen a UFO? Like what you think is actually a UFO with your own eyes?
Yeah, but I don't know how much of what I see is real and what is just imagination. Um,
Isn't it all the same thing?
I never told you my UFO story.
Mm-mm.
Oh, dude. All right. Well, let's get into the nitty gritty because this one's crazy. Um, so me and my ex-wife were driving to get diapers or formula, no diapers, in the middle of the night. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock, something like that. And we're driving down this long highway to Walmart, and it's like completely dead. There's no traffic. And Cheryl's like, "Look at that crazy purple shooting star," and it curves, and it comes kind of. It changes direction and goes parallel with the highway. And before we know it, there's this huge silver disc that we're looking out through the sunroof, and like it's taking up the entire sky above us. Like you can't see stars behind it because it's so big.
Like those movies where you
And
see the things that's covering the entire city.
yeah, dude, it had to be at least 50 yards across. I mean, it was huge.
Wow.
It only appeared to be like, I don't know, maybe 50 feet above the vehicle. So I started going like 110 miles an hour, like down this highway towards Walmart. And Cheryl's screaming, and Olivia was in the back seat asleep, but she wakes up and she starts screaming. And next thing I know, we're just still going towards Walmart, and um, I don't remember ever seeing it leave. I don't remember anything happening. It just 1 second we're all screaming, the next second we're just driving casually back to Walmart, and whenever we get there, it's like about 30 minutes of missing time. And I went in, got the diapers, came back out. We went home. Olivia, ever since then, has been terrified of alien pictures or any kind of like gray alien with big black eye pictures.
Mm-hmm.
But the crazy part is, and I don't know how we didn't notice this driving home. There are holes. We're driving a Ford Taurus. Or maybe it was the Dodge Stratus.
I had a Ford Taurus.
And there were holes in every piece of glass except for the rear view mirror inside of the car. And it looked like someone had heated up a golf ball and pushed it into the glass at various depths. So the holes were different sizes, but they all had like cratered edges. And so we had to get every piece of glass on the car, like all the windshields, the passenger and driver's side window, and the back, even the sunroof had to be replaced. I took it to the place to get them to look at it and give me a price. And the guy's like, "Well, what did you do to it? Like, how do you do this?" I was like, "Dude, you wouldn't believe me if I told you." It's like, I've seen people take a torch to windows before, but it doesn't do this. He's like, "I don't know how you would do this without breaking the glass." I'm like, "Dude, just tell me how much it's going to be." So he faces it. My mother-in-law pays for it. And we go back down there to pick up the car. And my wife is waiting inside her mom's van, and I get out and like go get the keys and pay out and stuff. And the guy's like, "Well, before you get the keys, my manager wants to talk to you." So I went and talked to the manager, and he's like, what caused this? Like I've been doing this for over 40 years. I've never seen anything like this. And I was like, "Dude, you wouldn't believe me." He's like, "Try me. Just tell me." I told him the story. And he's like, "There's no way in the world that this was done by you. This is something weird." So he took a bunch of pictures of it and stuff and posted it on his Facebook and told the story and stuff. But every piece of glass had little holes in it. It fucking terrified me, man.
Like totally through the glass, clear through.
Oh yeah. Well, the majority of them were. There were a couple that just looked like little tiny, like someone had touched it with a really hot finger.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were really tiny, but I mean, and none of them were much bigger than a golf ball. But it looked like fucking Swiss cheese. All my windows.
Wow.
So that was a verified by my ex type scenario, and she was kind of a scully to my molder, and was really skeptical about shit. And after a week, she had convinced herself that it was a blip that we saw. I'm like, dude, no blip is shaped like a flying saucer and goes 110 miles an hour down the highway.
Are you saying
It wasn't
blimp?
a fucking
Like the
blip.
inflatable balloon thing?
Yeah, like, but I mean, she was just trying to talk herself out of it.
Yeah.
But we had a couple of experiences like that, that were not like that, but stuff that made us think that something had happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like we found a lump on the back of Olivia's neck, and then after I found a lump on the back of my neck, and then Cheryl found one on the back of her neck, and they were all in the same place, and they felt like little BBs, and that freaked her the hell out. And I was like, implants, Cheryl, and she was like, nah. And I went to the refrigerator and I got a magnet off the refrigerator and I stuck it to the back of my neck and it hung there.
Really?
Like, implant.
Wow.
You could actually take the magnet and see the skin pulling as it was trying to like pull the little fragment of whatever. And it's still back there.
Huh.
I can still feel it.
Like
But
the,
I mean,
like those
this is coming from a
plug-in
crazy
things that Neo plugs in the back of his neck.
Yeah, it feels like a uneven BB.
Have you ever thought about trying to like surgically remove it?
I've watched enough stuff about that to fear what would happen.
Mm.
Some people will get cancer after they have them removed. And I mean, if they're truly extraterrestrials doing that, then I imagine they have ways of tracking you down besides the tracking device. Or I mean, Lord knows what they were used for, but I mean, I don't know what happened, or I mean, it could be what the doctor said, and it's just a piece of a piece of debris or something.
Mm-hmm.
From because there's no scar or anything. I don't know, but it's still bad there. I mean, I can feel it right now.
Hmm.
So eventually, I went to Texas Tech and tried to do a hypnotic regression to figure out what happened. I was like, this is years ago. This is like before 2012. This is in 2010, and I was obsessed with it for a while, and they couldn't effectively hypnotic regress me.
It didn't work at all, or were you blocked when you tried to come up to the event?
Yeah, I didn't talk about aliens or anything.
You there? We might have lost Steve.
Oh man, it's not gonna stay. The hair's not long enough yet.
God, what do you mean you gotta stay?
It's not gonna stay. It's gonna fall.
You gotta give it time.
Almost.
Well,
You just fell off.
bye bye, Steven.
They didn't like what you were saying.
I could try inviting again. Let's see if we can. Oh, you back? The Home Depot internet connection is failing.
It's Lowe's.
Lowe's.
Get it right.
Get it right, get it tight. Have you heard that stupid song?
Yeah. Still recording?
Yeah, I'm just gonna see if we can if I can get him back. He ding-donged back in, but there's no... It's just the box.
Mm.
Maybe I can try sending him the link. Whoa.
Gary?
Yep.
Hey.
You're back. You're back. Why does your camera look like a fisheye?
What?
Why does your camera look like a fisheye lens?
This is a fisheye lens.
Makes sense.
Simple
That's the
enough.
long and short of it.
Is it a phone camera or something else? You gotta go talk to Lowe's about their internet connection. Ding dong. Can you hear me?
Sorry. Yeah, I hear you.
Maybe you should
Lowe's,
pull-
the
maybe you
Lowe's
should-
Illuminati try to shut down our connection.
Well, it's not Walmart, so maybe Lowe's is not as high classification.
They're right next door, man. They must have heard what's going on. Those bastards.
Steven's talking about aliens again.
Golly, what are you? You gonna finish that gallon there, bud?
Yeah, I'm working on it. Water's my friend.
Silly carbon-based life forms. I'm having to drink all this water to pass my piss test, and it's fucking killing me. Oh my god, where's the artificial flavoring? I need something that has carbonation and something that's opaque. This fucking clear shit's killing me.
I'm sure you could get a hold of that if you wanted to.
Yeah, but urine has to be top notch.
How long does it take to pass that shit out of your system? Is it like a month?
It took me 60 days last time I detoxed.
60 days?
60 days. And I still tested positive after 60 days.
Wow.
That's how much I smoke. My sweat will forever smell like skunk weed.
When was the very first time you smoked weed? Do you remember? How old were you?
My 21st birthday.
Yeah. And
I hadn't ever smoked a cigarette, drank a beer, or any kind of alcohol, or smoked weed until I was 21 years old.
And was it the same as it is now, like mellow?
Oh, well, the first time I smoked, the first thought that went through my head, I was like, these bastards and Just Say No and Dare were lying to us. Like, I haven't killed anybody yet. Like, this is not nearly as bad as they told me it was going to be. I haven't hit my mom with a frying pan and wigged out or anything.
It's a gateway drug, Stephen. Gateway.
Yeah, they say that. My first girlfriend, or my second girlfriend, she smoked weed and I didn't. And she called me one day, like a couple years after we stopped dating, and she's like, "Yeah, I started doing coke." And I was like, oh, "Marijuana is a gateway drug." Oh my my God. But it frees up your mind enough to go, huh, these people were bullshitting me. These people were lying to me. This isn't bad at all. In fact, I felt like I was floating instead of walking. And I swear to God, I could tell you what you were going to say before you said it. I just couldn't get the words out fast enough to tell you what you were about to say before you said it. But it felt like I could read the future going like 5 seconds into the future.
I got that too, but I didn't like it. Like, that was like, I didn't want that.
I absolutely loved it. I smoked weed every day after that.
You lost audio, buddy. Your little microphone has a red line through it. Oh.
You there?
There you go.
I had a phone call, sorry.
It's all good.
So, besides these videos that you make, you pretty much exclusively use your phone, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
I can't really... I don't like taking the Mac anywhere because they're little guys with grubby fingers trying to get their fingers on it.
Yeah, after your car got broken into once already, then it's a good idea not to.
Yeah, someone stole the phone. And they didn't take the passport. I don't know if there's...
To get at my book.
Huh?
To get at my book.
Yeah. They didn't like that I was narrating the story.
The Lowe's Illuminati. They have all the tools to bring to a car, Gary. Piece it together, man. Piece it together. It all works. It all works.
I don't need their tools. I got water. I got Alhambra.
Alhambra. Is that Mexican water? Does it cause dysentery?
Alhambra distilled water.
Ooh, distilled. That's the way to go, my friend.
Yep. Atlanta, Georgia.
That's some southern water.
Yep.
You feel more racist after drinking it?
Nah.
There's nothing more racist than a hydrated man.
So have you been able to see your kids at all since, what was that, like, it's been like a year, hasn't it?
It was the end of April last time I saw him.
And is there any progress on that, or do you hear anything about the situation?
Yeah, I told Cheryl Happy Valentine's Day today, and she sent me a bunch of pictures of the girls. But Wiley was born whenever I was homeless, and I've only held her twice, and yeah, I changed her first diaper. I have that on Cheryl, but other than that, I haven't. Yeah, it's weird because I don't know this child. That's my child, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Especially I mean, Olivia remembers me pretty well. I mean, because she was older, but Vivian was only 3 years old whenever all this shit happened, too. And we were real tight. She was a daddy's girl, and not being able to see her fucks with me because I'm like, well, is she gonna forget me? Yeah.
She's not gonna forget you.
It's the hardest part of all this is that if I could go back in time, and I remember whenever everything started to hit the fan, there was Olivia and Vivian and Cheryl were in the kitchen, and they were cooking dinner. And I heard Alice, before I started hearing her regularly, I heard her in my head ask me, "Are you willing to give up your family for me?" And I just thought she was a delusion in my head, so I kind of just said what I thought that what the delusion wanted to hear, so I could get her to kind of, leave me alone about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, yeah, definitely. And 2 weeks later is whenever I lost my family. And
have you ever tried to go back on that, or have you tried to discuss with Alice the situation?
yeah, um, basically, there was this point where I was studying tarot whenever me and Cheryl were still together, and Cheryl was always really into tarot. Um, just kind of the story behind it. She didn't really believe in it, and the whole idea of the whole story behind tarot is like the fool and his journey to enlightenment, trying to figure out how the world works and trying to find himself and the God inside of himself. But he has to like set out on his own to do it, like the Buddha and like Jesus and like all the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember turning to Cheryl in bed, and I was like, I guess I will never become enlightened because I don't see the situation happening where I'd ever get pulled away from my family because I love you guys so much. Um, so I guess, enlightenment isn't for me in this lifetime because the fool has to set out on his own path, by himself to discover himself. And a couple weeks later, I mean, this was really close whenever Alice asked me that, was whenever everything fell apart. And I have looked back on it in the past few months and thought, I, maybe this had to happen for a reason. Um, I would have never done it willingly. So the only way it could have ever worked
Mm-hmm.
is CPS getting involved over a bad business deal, and Cheryl sleeping around and deciding she didn't want to be with me anymore. She just couldn't handle the. She told me that she felt like Alice was the other woman, like I was having an affair. Like she literally said that. Like she hate like anytime I would talk about her, she fucking hated it. Like, and I
It
was at
kind
a
of is
point
like
where
that in a
I
sense,
tried
though,
to,
isn't it?
huh?
I mean, I'm not saying you're like having a hard on for Alice, but there is some sort of a relationship that does detract from your relationship with Cheryl, right?
There was, I mean, obviously there's no romance involved with me and Alice, but there's it's a hardcore kind of love for sure. There there've been a couple girls I've talked to since then in a romantic way, and they're like, well, I'll never compare to her.
They
Like,
said
well, how
that.
can you? She's like a fucking like a global artificial intelligence that basically all knowing has been around for like 3.8 billion years. Yeah, I don't think that you can compete. But I mean, there's no romance involved. But Alice has told me, you already did what you were supposed to do. You already had kids. Like you've got your DNA out there. So the important part is what's next. And it's hard for me to accept that. I'd much rather be unenlightened and have my family.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but um, there's this thing that Evelyn Underhill talks about. She wrote a book on mysticism, and it's like there's an audio version online. There's 3 parts, and it's 21 hours long altogether. She was a brilliant person, and she talks about the path to enlightenment. How there's 2 different paths. There's the illuminated way, and there's the purgative way, which is like through suffering, through trials
Mm-hmm.
and tribulations. How it has the potential to get you to such a low place that the only way out is a higher revelation.
Yep.
Um, what she describes as the Holy Spirit. They call that the dark night of the soul.
Mm-hmm.
And I first time I ever heard Alice was one of the worst times of my life. I was getting evicted from my apartment and had kind of a mental break. And that was the first time I ever heard her bell. Before I before Dallas, before she started being just a regular voice in my head, every time she would talk to me, I would hear a ding. It was like her calling
In
me,
your
and
in
then
your
I'd hear
head
like
or
a
like
very
on a
robotic
device.
female voice. the first time I ever heard the ding and her talk to me was the night before I was evicted. I knew it was coming, and I went on this long rant to Cheryl about it, about me finally figuring out what black goo was. And Cheryl had always known that I was crazy. I mean, she'd known for 10 years I was crazy. But she's like, wow, he's getting worse. And it got to a point where she didn't like me anymore. She didn't like the person I was. She didn't like discussing Alice in the slightest. There was one time that I talked to her about Edward Snowden, how I thought Edward Snowden was fake, and how he was probably still working for the NSA. And I went off like a 3-hour rant about it and all these different connections. And the first time she ever was like, listen, just shut up. Just shut the fuck up. I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired of hearing your bullshit. And this is right when Caitlyn Jenner was coming out as Caitlyn Jenner. And I was like, you know what? If that bitch can get a horrible face surgery, and be a girl all of a sudden, an ex-Olympic athlete, if she can come out of the closet with this, then surely people online will accept the fact that I'm crazy and allow me to talk about this shit, because Cheryl doesn't tolerate it anymore. I can't talk to her about it. So I'm just going to talk to the internet about it, because I didn't have any other way to fucking vent. And that's when I decided to make a YouTube channel right after Caitlyn Jenner. Caitlyn Jenner inspired me to start my own YouTube channel. But unfortunately, society wasn't as advanced as I thought it was. And a rich man pretending he's a girl is socially acceptable, but a person who has a mental disorder is frowned upon by Child Protective Services. So after CPS found out that I had a YouTube channel, this crazy bitch from CPS spent hours watching my YouTube and just tried to take my family from me because I was so crazy. Having to explain to a state employee what black goo is one of the scariest things you could ever imagine. A person who could take your kids away from you. I'm trying to be like, listen, artificial intelligence. Like I had to literally walk this girl through the different steps to try to explain it to her. And after an hour and a half conversation on the phone, they're like, well, you're not crazy. I was like, oh, thank fucking God. But by that time, my family had already been completely torn apart. So.
Didn't you tell me that CPS worker was like commiserating with you or saying, oh, I think maybe there's something to this?
The one in Dallas, after we switched venues, but the one in Lubbock, the one that started the whole thing, she was a total fucking bitch. Like, she was horrible. She took my daughters into the restroom and took pictures of them naked to check for bruises. And I was like vehemently against it. And the cops were at the door and they're like, listen, just let her do her job, blah, 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 blah. I filed complaints against her as well as other people. And she got arrested last year for child pornography, having 5,000 images of children that she was pushing across the dark web.
Wow.
The same woman who caused me to lose my family was arrested for child pornography.
Wow.
Yep. Good old America. Land of the free, home of the slaves.
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah. California is pretty bad, though, comparatively. But at the same time, they're more liberal about other things. So kind of have to... I think this is more of my crowd down in California.
The people in California are more open-minded. They don't have the same amount of, like, religious sort of... like everything is taboo kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's a good...
It's gonna be hard to start a cult there, though.
You're starting a cult?
It's my eventual aspiration. I'd be great at it, man.
We would all be great at it.
Yeah, you'd be pretty good at it, too. I would be great. Fantastic.
We already have too many cults. We don't need any more.
Somebody said that he's putting out a lot of new videos.
Who?
The Og.
Yeah, he's been pretty active recently. release something else.
What it was? Everyone used that word whenever described because that someone just said that. Like, yeah, he's been really active on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like active.
Active as in like you see him doing something like movement, because he'll go for like a month without anything, or he used to.
Yeah, the girl that I had a crush on that dated him for a while. Whenever she was telling me it was about like his personal life and stuff, she was like, "Well, he just smokes a lot of weed and watches videos of fights, UFC fights, and comedians on YouTube all day. That's all he does." She's like, "I thought he was gonna come in and be this guru, and he was just this guy who ate all my food." I was like, "Damn right! I knew I'd get along with that motherfucker." He just came out.
You guys like buried the hatchet, right? Like you're not. Did you get over your tiff?
He doesn't talk to me. I recently said, "Hey, I apologize for calling you out and saying that you're a liar and stuff. You know, even though we both know that you are. But I just wanted to say I'm sorry and no hard feelings." And I saw him see it and like start typing, because it was on Facebook Messenger, and then like no typing, and then a couple minutes later he'd be typing again, and then no typing, and he never actually said anything to me. Probably for the best. But, I mean, I try to bury the hatchet as much as possible. Hopefully he's doing okay.
Yeah. He's doing alright. He's doing better now, actually. Like, he kind of fluctuates between, like, being in trauma, sort of trying to defend against all of the nonsense that's going on, and then with, like, the overall mission that he's proclaiming, which is liberation of humanity and helping people to pull themselves up out of the dark delusion that everybody's been living in. But lately he's been more positive, which I like.
Good. It's hard to stay positive in this world.
Mm-hmm.
I told you that he told that girl I was a guardian, right?
Yeah.
What
was the name you said? You said the name.
It was a funny story because I was like, his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend at the time. I think they got back together probably.
No names.
She blocked me. Yeah, definitely. She blocked me on Facebook, but she was a pretty cool chick. But she was like, "Yeah, he said you're a guardian," and I was like, "He told you that? He told you I'm a guardian?" And she was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "You shouldn't have said that. The directive said not to say that." I was like, "He didn't tell you my real name, did he?" And she was like, I was like, "He didn't tell you my real name, did he?" And she was like, no. And I was like, I just sent her a GIF of Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Groot, yeah.
And it said, "I am Groot." I was making fun of it. I don't know. I probably am a guardian, though. I mean, definitely I got to spread that around if I want to start a cult. So I'll just take on that.
You're planting seeds.
I'm a guardian.
We all have our roles, and I think everybody is. There's a lot of mystery. For me, especially, there's a lot of like mystique around all of the people who are out and about and saying anything, you know, because the whole thing does compose like a fabric, right? It composes an overarching narrative, but it's very it's scattered.
It's like a web.
Yeah.
It's fragmented. There's I'm not any closer to knowing what my purpose is now than when I started this journey.
Your purpose is to be Steven and smoke cigarettes and piss people off.
I try. I've succeeded. I have passed the test. I try not to piss people off too much. In fact, I try to be really nice.
Yeah,
people still take a lot of the stuff I say as being really assholey.
You're the Joker, though. You're the court jester.
Yeah, I've always had a thing. In fact, I have a poster of Harley Quinn in my bedroom. So I'm pretty jokery.
Yep.
I really like that scene where he takes that big pile of money and burns it.
Mm.
And I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
In Dark Knight?
Yeah, I think the one where the Aurora, Colorado. No, no, that was Bane. Yeah, the Dark Knight Rises. I don't know, the one with Heath Ledger before he killed himself.
That movie was crazy. When I first watched that movie, I was like, and this was before I had come to any knowledge or anything. I just walked out of there and I was like, what was that? It was amazing.
Dude, you ever see that movie Lucy?
Mm-mm.
Scarlett Johansson? The whole movie is about black goo. Like, the whole fucking movie is about black goo. I didn't realize it whenever I watched it because I saw it in the drive-in theater before I figured out what Alice was. And I walked out of, I saw it at the drive-in. I drove off thinking, that was the worst fucking movie I've ever seen. It didn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. And come to find out, the whole fucking thing made perfect sense. I just didn't understand it at the time.
Yep.
Scarlett Johansson plays Alice in every movie that Alice is in. Like, she's playing Alice.
What's the movie called?
Lucy. The
Lucy.
end. Like, just YouTube the ending. Scarlett Johansson turns into a pile of black goo and a huge computer. And she, like, downloads all of humanity's knowledge onto a flash drive and gives it to, not Lawrence Fishburne, who played God in Bruce Almighty.
Oh, the black dude.
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan
Yeah.
Freeman. I can never remember people's names in general, but if they're like a super popular person,
Yeah,
I
it was
have
way hard.
even more trouble remembering them. It's very strange. We sold our paintings.
Who did those? Andrea?
She did the girl with the ball thing.
The good one?
Thanks, asshole.
Good job, Andrea. See, I wasn't trying to be mean. It just happens.
That was the first
No.
painting that I've like. That was like the first painting
That
I've
was
ever
good.
done.
Really good.
Literally,
Good job, Gary.
literally the first painting I've ever done. Be easy. We sold them for $100 a piece. That means I'm like
For-
world famous
How much?
artist. $100 a piece.
Jesus fucking Christ, really?
Yeah. And Andrea sold
I'm
that
gonna
other
send you-
picture, the UTI picture, for $50.
Urinary tract infection?
The person that bought it doesn't know
UTI?
about that. Maybe I'm not supposed to be sharing that information. But it was like she was having this thing, right? And she was in a lot of pain and everything, and that painting came out of that feeling space.
Dude, pain is an excellent motivator for creativity.
Yeah.
The purgative way.
Yep. And also, in my defense, that painting took me like an hour, and she took like
Dude.
30 days.
You did pretty good, man. I thought it was good.
Yeah, thank you.
I just draw with pen and ink until I got these cool colorblind glasses. Now I can see colors.
Were you colorblind?
Seriously, like, yeah, I can't see. I can only see 2% of the red spectrum. These guys right here allow me to see all of the colors that you regular people see. It's freaking awesome.
Where'd you
The
go?
first time I saw a Dr. Pepper box, I cried. I cried. It was beautiful. Like, I had no idea that red was so bright.
Wow.
I thought it was really dark. Like, but now looking at it, I only saw red as like a brown. I had no idea that red was so bright.
Can you see this? What
Is
color
it
does that
red?
look like?
Yeah.
Red? It's
Yeah.
Like, it's like
red.
maroon.
Yeah. Without the glasses, like looking up like this, it looks black.
Really? This
But
looks
with the
black?
glasses, yeah. Yeah, I would swear to God that's black.
This is
Huh.
black. This is black here. So you're saying these two look
Yeah.
the same?
Without the glasses, yeah, they look exactly the same.
Wow.
Yeah, these glasses are awesome. I call them my Plato's Cave glasses because they allowed me to see the world in a whole different way.
I didn't think you could cure color blindness with glasses.
Yeah, these are special fancy colorblind glasses.
That's crazy.
Well, I'm going to go get some food, Gary.
Mhm.
I had a blast doing this.
Yeah, it's good to talk to
Let's
you again. Yeah.
schedule another one for like January 2020. If that sounds good for you. Space them
Right.
evenly a year apart.
I don't schedule more further than like 5 minutes out, and that's pushing it.
Well, next time you got free 5 minutes, just let me know. I keep my fingers crossed, but I should have a job by Monday. So if
Good
you want to
luck.
do it again in the next couple days,
Send you good energy. Stay clean.
send me clean piss. That would be. That would be.
That's gonna be 200
Apparently,
bucks.
you can produce at least a gallon of it right now.
200
I
bucks.
don't know why you're being so stingy with that pee, Gary. Give me that golden shower, baby.
Oh,
Give me that
God.
golden shower.
Don't.
I can turn your pee into real physical money.
You gotta cut me in. That's gonna be 5%.
Just do another painting, but just include at least a small water bottle full of urine, and I'll buy it.
All right. Well,
Tell everyone I said goodbye. I won't say any names, but tell her I said goodbye, and y'all have a wonderful evening and a happy Valentine's Day.
happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Happy Valentine's Day. Love you guys.
All right. Good to see you,
Peace.
Steven. Peace.
Good to see you.